Yeah. All right, this week on The Big Show, we return to the scene of the cinematic crime. After 2 years, we revisit the film festival where we were interrupted by the pandemic, the New African Film Festival. Festival director Mwiza Munthali joins us to discuss this year's slate featuring the best films from the African continent. Plus, we'll recap the CCA Awards. We'll have all that and more on episode 495 of Keeping It Real with FilmGordon. Let us go. All right, and welcome to the latest episode of Keeping It Real with FilmGordon. I am Tim Gordon. I am joined by Charles Kirkland Jr. I am back in town, Charles, after what can only be described as a hellish travel weekend. A hellish travel weekend, man. Make a long story short, Charles knows, but I'm telling you guys, 7-hour delay on Friday on the way out to the West Coast, 2-hour delay on the way back from the West Coast. So despite all those challenges of moving around, post-pandemic, actually it's not even post-pandemic, we're still in the pandemic, but moving around during the pandemic, rising gas prices, limited personnel, them kind of taking and mashing together all these different flights and getting rid of these hubs was not fun doing that. But thank God the show was fun and the experience of hanging out was fun for all of us who went, unlike the man in green, the Irish Charles Kirkland Jr. Talk about your experience, man, having to watch all of this weekend, man.
Well, first I want to say thank you for allowing me to come on the show on such a rainy St. Patrick's Day as it is today, with March Madness playing in the background. I figure I can take some time out to discuss movies with you today. However, it was a interesting night watching the Critics' Choice Awards from my sofa at home, which I think would have been better than watching it in a chair in an anteroom. I think my screen was bigger here than it was there, but it was all right. I mean, I wish I could have been in the room where it happened, but that's coming for next year. And the sad thing about it is, I think I had an opportunity to be there, but it just materialized.
And tell the people at home about the opportunity to be there, because that was funny.
Well, I got an email from Focus Features asking what hotel I was staying in while I was in Los Angeles for the Critics' Choice Awards. And I replied to them that I was not going to be in Los Angeles for the Critics' Choice Awards because it just didn't make sense for me to come there and sit in an anteroom and watch the show where I could sit in the comfort of my home.
Excuse me a second. You keep using the word anteroom, meaning the alternative or the other space, which we will talk about a little later on, but continue.
Right. So, and save myself $400+ of going out to Los Angeles. So I received a response to that email stating, "Oh, if we had known that you weren't coming, that you weren't going to be sitting in the room, we would have invited you to sit at our table, the Belfast table, for which I struck up a wonderful relationship with Kenneth Branagh, who thought I was a white Irishman
and that's the hook. Because I kept saying when you were telling me the story, what's the hook, Charles? Why would you be invited to the Belfast table?
Branagh saw my name, Charles Kirkland Jr., and presumed that I was a white Irishman that he knew or thought he knew. And so I was given keys to the kingdom based on the fact that, I have an Irish name. so I could have been there, but all that materialized in the days before the Critics' Choice Awards, and there was no way I was going to get all that together to get out there at the last minute. So I stayed at home and watched it.
So before we bring on our guest this week to talk about the New African Film Festival, let me pull the curtain back a little bit, because I literally was on with Nell Minow yesterday. We did a presentation to a group of senior citizens yesterday about at the Oscars and the award season. So I feel like this is an extension of what I did yesterday. So basically, we had a situation where we, how do I say this in a really nice way? There were growing pains with the first year of us moving moving from the Barker hangar to the Fairmont Citrus Plaza, right? And one thing we know is that it was smaller space in this venue than we have had in the past. I think in the past, they may have had maybe 140 to 150 tables that were round tables that would seat about 10 each. So if you do the math, 1,500 people in the room, that means that those are all the nominees, all the publicists, all the sponsors, and all the members of the Critics' Choice Awards. Now that worked well until the Critics' Choice Awards swole up to 520 members. And we now went to a space that only holds about 180, I would say 85 to 95 comfortably, but they put about 100, maybe 110 tables in this room. And it was tight. It was tight. It was so tight. And I shared with Charles that I spent the majority of the show, at least half the show, out in the lobby because I needed some space. And there were a lot of stars that came out. You know, I ran into Jodie Turner-Smith, who co-starred in Queen and Slim. Robin Thede, Issa Rae were all out in the hallway. There were a lot of stars in the hall. I'll just say that much. Matter of fact, Jared Leto was in the hall. What's his name? Spider-Man. Andrew Garfield was out in the hall. Funny story, and an aside for you, Charles. Wilson Morales wanted me to take a picture of him and our friend, Mr. Garfield. And I didn't know how to use Wilson's camera, didn't get the picture, and he was hot with me. I was like, dude, if you had something like this, like a regular cell phone, you'd have been good. You sit up here with some camera.
He had a camera. He had
an old school camera, and I just messed it up. I was like, my bad. But it was a night filled with a lot of stars. And this also, I will end by saying, it was probably the first time I'd ever gone to this show that I was not in a mental space where I wanted to run around and like grab people and take pictures, because that's normally what all of us do. And I think I took 2 pictures. I think Jodie Turner-Smith, I took a picture with her, and Rob Morgan, who I'm very friendly with. We ran into each other and I took a picture with him. But I was into trying to meet people and have conversations. So I went and talked to Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith. I had a nice conversation with Aunjanue Ellis. We met and talked to Amber Ruffin, Robin Thede. So there was a lot of conversations. Sterling K. Brown. The Sterling K. Brown one, did I show you the picture?
Man, you stopped talking about all the people. The only one person mattered that you spoke to, and that was
who?
Halle Berry.
Oh, yeah. She was one of the people I talked to. But I'm trying to explain. No, but I'm explaining to the audience. I don't want you guys misunderstanding what I'm saying. I'm saying that normally I would have taken a bunch of pictures and had visual evidence of all these people, but I wasn't really trying to do that. And I think the thing that made it funny when Charles was talking about Halle Berry, as I'll get to that in a second, but I was saying that a colleague of ours, Lauren Bradshaw, was at the This Is Us table. And I had run into Sterling K. Brown. So we were talking about the show, and as it was winding down, and I was teasing him about Honk for Jesus, Save Your Soul that we all watched at Sundance. And she was taking pictures of me talking to Sterling. So there's all these exchanges and these shots of I'm saying something, I'm laughing, he's laughing. So that was a lot of fun. Susan Kelechi Watson was also there. I think This Is Us had like 3 tables, man. So as soon as they didn't win for outstanding TV drama in Mads, Mandy Moore was like, we got to go. They all bounced. Boom. They was out the door, right? So Halle Berry and Van Hunt were together. And Van Hunt is somebody I've known for like 15 years since I was at WHUR producing radio. We had him in years ago. So at one point I was teasing Halle Berry. I said, you know, Halle, I've known Van longer than you, right? If you wanted to meet Van, you should have just hollered at me. I could have turned you on to Van back in the day. So she thought that was funny. And look at Charles. What is wrong with your face? I'm just telling you, kind of recapping. I'm trying to think, was there anybody else I talked to? Will? Oh, the other notable thing, because this turned into a firestorm and I had no idea. I called Charles the next day. I was still in Los Angeles. Jane Campion, of course, won Outstanding Director. And she got up there and gave a speech. And all night long, I was telling Charles that the power table at the Critics' Choice Awards was Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith, the King Richard table. Venus and Serena Williams were there, Aunjanue Ellis, Sanaa Sidney, Demi Singleton. So all the cast members of King Richard sat at one table, right? And, all night long, everybody from Halle Berry, Denzel Washington, everybody who was in the room came by almost, if you're using a Godfather kind of analogy, like to kiss the ring, right? Will Smith is probably going to win Best Actor this year. Everybody is giving Will props. Will is just sitting there gracious, talking to everybody. And Jane Campion spent some time over at his table, right? She loved the Williams sisters. So later on, she gives this speech, which I don't have to tell you what she said, but let's just say if there was somebody else that was really, really close to her in this Oscar race, she might have lost the Oscar on Sunday night, Charles, because the Oscar final voting is going on right now. And that speech, now again, I don't know how it played across the mainstream, but in Black America, that speech did not play well at all. Matter of fact, I didn't tell you this, Charles. I had a conversation with an Oscar-winning director friend of ours. You know exactly who I'm talking about. I called out to the Midwest. The first thing he said was, "What the hell was she saying?" I said, "Hey, man, I was in the room. I sat there. I said, it played well in the room. I don't know what happened." And when I say I was in the room, Charles, we had moved up because there were so many people that left. I literally was sitting on the side of the stage when Jane Campion gave that speech. And we all looked at each other. We were like, "Ee!" And then later on, it's like, woo! Wow.
Jane might have had a little bit too much to drink or something. I don't think these were prepared comments that she had. But
and again, I'm not going to get in trouble for trying to defend her, right? Because I think I know what she was trying to say. The problem is that she didn't say it. So, look, I called Charles. I was like, "Charles, I don't understand. What happened?" I mean, she was making this point. I think this is what she was saying. And even you were like, "But she didn't say that." I was like, yeah, pretty much. So the CCA
all in the execution. I keep telling you all the time, you can have a wonderful script, but if you don't execute it right, you got problems. And
hold on a second. I got one more thing to show you that's going to drive you crazy. Hold on a second. Going to my closet of closets right now. Let me pull it out. This is for Charles.
Here we go.
Because Charles didn't come. This is for Charles. So
all I can say is yes, the Critics' Choice Awards gave you a sweatshirt. Congratulations.
Oh, man. Yes, so I had a lot of fun, man.
$400+ to get out there to get that sweatshirt. What? I really don't need a sweatshirt for $400.
This is what they
I'll
call.
go on the internet. I'll go on the internet to our website and buy the shirt for $30 and have it still come out ahead.
All right. I'm gonna admit in Mwiza Munthali right now because we're having a lot of fun, man. We can talk more about this later on, but the Critics' Choice Awards were really, really fun. But now it's time for us to kick it and talk about one of my favorite film festivals. And Charles has heard me say this countless times. Yeah, we're waiting on him to come in through Zoom.
New African Film Festival is great. We have our own seats. When we go to the AFI, we have our own seats.
Don't tell everybody,
So,
man. You're ruining the drama, man. Come on, man. Don't be telling everybody. We do have our own seats, literally at the AFI Silver when we watch this festival. These are the best films from the African continent, man. And I get really, really excited talking about this festival because many of the films that we see at this festival end up being Black Reel Award nominated films later on, either in two categories, Outstanding Foreign Language, as well as World Cinema. And for some reason, Mwiza, I guess, he's getting ready for the festival. So he's got his camera off. I'm like, come on, man. It's us, man. You can talk to us, bro.
Hold on. This is radio, right?
No, this is not radio. We podcasting, man. We looking at each other, man. I mean, this is what we doing, Mwiza.
So I don't even have my beard shaved, nothing, You got me.
And my beard is shaved. Look at Charles, man. Charles looks like that every week, man. And he's on camera.
Look at me. I don't do anything special for the show.
Right.
I just come on and talk, man.
You look great, man. Look at you. So first of all, let me introduce
Charles,
him.
What's up? How are you guys?
This gentleman right here is the festival director of one of our favorite film festivals. I tell him this every year when we go.
Co-director.
Movies at this festival that now we will talk that there's one that I saw that's playing at this festival that I saw at TIFF earlier, and I called Charles. I was like, they playing it, man. We got to be there Saturday. And then he had another film that played at Sundance where we didn't really feel that way. Neither of us wanted to see that movie, but we were watching at this festival. So without any further ado, the festival director of the New African Film Festival, which takes place starting tomorrow, March 18th through the 31st of this month at the AFI Silver. It is none other than the man, the myth, Mwiza Munthali.
Munthali,
I got the last name wrong. Munthali,
yes. And I'm
I was close, man.
Co-director, co-founder with Kisheri Mbuya. This is our 18th year. We started this festival in 2004. And also we're partnered with AFI Silver Theater. We started with the AFI Silver Theater, having the festival there since 2006. So this is our 18th year. So I can't believe it's been 18 years since we started. And it's grown bigger and bigger. Yeah. Last year we were not this year we're celebrating because we're in person again. I mean, that's when at least we're somewhat in the kind of getting into the normal way we were doing things before. Last year we had a virtual festival. So this year we're back in the theater with some COVID restrictions. You have to wear a mask. They also need your ID, the vaccination information or the COVID PCR test. Yeah.
All right, so Mwiza, stop, man. So you burying the lead, man. The last time we were live at a festival, we were in Silver Spring, and I told Charles, I never forget it. I had gone out that Saturday, right? You had a full slate of films. I'm sitting there in my favorite spot. Charles is in his spot. And then the next day, it was a beautiful day. I was like, oh, man, I'm going to take Sunday off. I'll be back on Monday. I'm going to watch some more movies. I showed up Monday at 5:00. AFI Silver was dark, and there was a sign on the door. Man, it is closed down. That was the last time I saw this film at the festival. So here's the question for you, Mwiza.
Yeah.
You owe Charles and I some films, man. We never saw most of the films. What's up with that?
And you missed the Sunday showing. I think that Sunday we had a Fela's film, and that was a great event.
Oh, Fela Kuti, yeah. I saw it earlier, right? I remember that.
That was a great event. That was our last big kind of hurrah. And then everything changed on the 16th of March.
Oh my God! So when did you get the word,
2 years ago?
Did you get the word
on that Monday? Because
you found out that Monday when you guys showed up that it was shut down?
No, in the morning when Governor Hogan made this announcement that they have to close down all the public spaces. That's when we all had to shut down. All the theaters, all the cinemas had to shut down that day.
Oh
So
my
I remember
God.
that Sunday. I remember that Sunday I was
Oh.
there for the Fela Kuti movie,
yeah.
and I was talking with you. I was like, "What are we gonna do it tomorrow?" And you were like, "I don't know what we're gonna do."
Yeah, that's right. We didn't know. We're playing it by ear. Because
Oh,
remember that we had to even go down to like 50% of the capacity, and then we had already gone to 50% by that time. And then Monday he had this press conference and everything was shut down. So,
all right. So let me jump in right here and say for people who are watching this, right? When I tell you it's one of my favorite film festivals, short of going over to Burkina Faso and going to FESPACO, like the amount, the way that Mwiza and his crew put this festival together every year and the films they select. When I say it's the best films from the African continent, I've seen movies from Tunisia. I mean, I've seen films from all over the continent. And the only place I tell people every year, the only place you can see it is at this festival if you live in the Washington, D.C. area, right? So talk to me, Mwiza, about what you're looking for in the films you're curating. And even this year, I don't know how many different countries inside of the continent are being represented, but tell the audience about that.
The number of countries this year is 17. We have 28 films, and it's from all over the continent. We try as much as possible to make sure that all the regions are covered. So that's North Africa, Southern Africa, West Africa, East Africa, and Central Africa. And yeah, this time around we have all those regions as well. So usually we do cover all the regions. And also one of the great things about the festival, because this festival also happens in the Women's History Month, March being Women's History Month. We also have a huge percentage of the films done by women filmmakers, or the subject matter is a women main character in the film. And but the important thing is that the films are produced, a good portion, about 40%, I think, are produced by women filmmakers. For instance, we have Above the Water, which is going to be played on the World Water Day, and that's produced by the French. She's Senegalese French, and she was born in Senegal. She's French actress, director, activist. That's Aïssa Maiga. And she is if people saw The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind, she was the mother in that film. That film is about really addressing the world water crisis, set in a village which is has a problem with water. They're trying to dig a well, and all the men have to leave because in search of water, people have to, and then the younger people end up being the parent. They take on roles which, being the parent. It follows this young girl a 14-year-old girl who ends up having to stay with the family, being the parent, because her mother has to go off in search of a livelihood because of the drought situation and the lack of water, the scarcity. And normally these nomadic groups, move around, but because of the scarcity of water, they just stuck in one place now. And
all right, wait. No, because I know what Mwiza's about to do. He does it to us every year. He'll try to rattle off all these movies. No, bro, stop. We jumping in.
I just want to let you know, people, the director will be at that film on Tuesday, the 22nd. Yes.
Okay, cool. That's good. Yeah. Okay, before you moved on to the next film, I just wanted to tell you that you have a film programmed in this festival that I saw at TIFF, right? And a matter of fact, Charles, you saw it too, right?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, you haven't seen it yet? Okay. And I called Charles. I was like, man, you got to see this movie. The style, I don't know what it is about movies that come out of the Democratic Republic of the Congo. I remember I've seen like 3 or 4 of them. There's a style, like when you talk about Nigerian, like Nollywood, they have a style of filmmaking. You watch a lot of South African films. They have a certain style. The style of the Congolese filmmakers, mwah. Every one of them gets me every time. And Salam that you have. And it's funny. Right. It's funny that you have that film, because I told Charles I wanted the program before I knew you had it. I was like, we're going to show that film at our festival in August. That film is fire. Mwiza, talk about one of my favorite films out of the continent this year. Salam.
That's done by a Congolese filmmaker, but it's set in Senegal. Right. And it's like a Western Quentin Tarantino type of film, and looking at the drug trade and looking at this drug where it was from Guinea-Bissau, which is next door to and next near Senegal. And so this film is not in the same. If people, as one of the things as you earlier talked about what we do when we're looking at the film, curating the films, the people should understand the title of the festival is New African Film Festival.
Gotcha.
So what we intentionally we do is try to get the latest films, like at least if they're going to be old, maybe maximum 2 years old, but also looking at the wide spectrum of styles, as you mentioned. It's not just one type of film from the continent, as you mentioned. People are fixated on Nollywood,
right?
And Nollywood is also like Hollywood, is very broad. You have the Nollywood, which people think about, which is very specific. You have one movie which is part 1, part 2, part 3, part 8. That's one type of Nollywood. But you have Nollywood Nigerian films, like for instance, we have a young man from Nigeria who has a film. He lives in Nigeria diaspora, called Elders Corner, and that's a documentary about the people who've made Nigerian music, the foundations of Nigerian music. So it's interviewing all the older people, like in High Life, and then Afrobeat, and looking at footage from Fela and Festac. Festac was a big Pan-African culture festival which took place in 1977. It's the biggest one that ever took place, where you had musicians and artists from the United States, Brazil, and all of the African diaspora and Africa coming together in February, for a month in February 1977. As a matter of fact, Stevie Wonder was there when he got the award for Songs in the Key of Life. He was actually in Nigeria.
Wow.
That's when he was even thinking about moving. He started moving that time. He was even going to move, and of course now he has residency.
He's in Ghana right now, right?
Yeah, he has. Yeah, he lives I think like half the time in Ghana, half the time here, or something like that. But he has residency in Ghana, and it's not a new thing. That was actually he started doing that way back, and that was that festival, and that's talked about in this film. But also, it looks at the artists who have made. Everybody now is on the bandwagon of Nigerian music, but in this film, you see how it starts. The elders who started this journey, and then you have people like Davido now and all that, and then P Squared before, and all those people who know about them. But this film on Sunday, and the filmmaker will be there, Seji Ayoinka will be there, and his family is also musicians. But going back to, I was saying that the one thing that we do is try to make sure we look at what's happening on the continent in the festivals, because there are a number of festivals on the continent, where you have the Cairo Film Festival, you have the Durban Film, apart from FESPACO. FESPACO is the biggest.
Oh yeah, Durban is another one. Yeah,
Durban is big, but then Cairo is big too. And then you have Zanzibar Film Festival is also big. So you have a number of festivals. We look at what's going on, and then also sometimes we're put in touch by filmmakers themselves, because now that we've been doing this for so many years, they contact us that they have films as well. So that's one way how we create. And
excuse me, sir, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
I realize that folks are contacting you. We have aspirations because we want to honor these folks too. Can we work together? Do I need to come and talk to you about the potential partnership? Because I don't think you see in the big picture, Weezer.
No, definitely.
We are allies.
Yeah. No
what
problem.
What can we do? We're using our awards, the one that I'm wearing my sweatshirt right now, the Black Reel Awards. We are promoting these films, putting them in competition. So we need to talk, man, because I believe in what you're doing. As I said, I am a huge advocate. I call you up twice a year. I'm like, Weezer, it's time. Let's do it.
This year we had Africa America was our winner.
Africa America from South Africa won outstanding foreign language film this year.
That's great.
And we had a lack of those films this year because we didn't have the New African Film Festival as our feeder. So
and then also
you are our contact, Weezer. We need you.
Thanks. And then that means a lot. I think the other problem we had, of course, COVID has played a big part in production of films. You know,
right? Because I noticed you have less than 30 films this year. Because I was looking, you normally have a much larger. Because what do you normally average between 35 to 40 films a year?
Yeah, lately we've been doing about 35 to 40 roughly. And but because of COVID, you know, production has been down all over the world. But it's interesting. COVID has also, there are two films in this festival which use the COVID experience to put a film together.
Okay, and those are which ones, Mwiza?
The film from Kenya, on the first day, which is called The Tales of the Accidental City, and this is done by it's produced in Kenya by Maimuna Jallo, and the film is about these people who had to go to anger management course for various reasons. They had to go to, you know, like they went to court and they're told by the judge that you got to go to anger management course because of something that you've done. So because of COVID, they can't go in person. So they have to do it on a Zoom meeting, just like how we are on a Zoom meeting. Yeah.
Anger management by Zoom. That's fun.
And so it's using the because of COVID, that's why they have to do it on Zoom. So the whole film is on Zoom. So it's a very interesting way of using the current environment that we're in, and then putting it on film, and it's very, very nicely done. And that's going to be the very first film that we show on Friday in the afternoon, and then we're going to show it again on the 18th, but it'll be on the 18th and as well as March 21st at 7:00. But
so your first film is kicking off. Is it? You said in the afternoon. Is the first film like 5:00 or 3:00 or something?
3:00. 3 p.m. and that's the Tales of the Accidental City. But it also shows you again breaking away from people's mindset of what an African film looks like, what it's supposed to be. It's telling you how artistic people are and the creativity they're using because people say, oh, we got COVID, we can't do a film. But no, they say, wait a minute, we can use a Zoom. And
still do a film with COVID.
But all the experiences that you have in anger management really come out in this film. And I don't want to give it away, but it's a very interesting, very funny film. And it's just and then we also have films looking at the history of Africa in a drama setting. The film right after that is from Tanzania. It's called Tug of War. It's set in Zanzibar when Zanzibar is fighting for independence from the British. But looks at a young man who's an activist, and then he falls in love with this other woman. And so it's a love story, but also looking at the independence movement. So it's based on a novel that was written a number of years ago. And the filmmaker that did this film, we've had two of his films before, so he's become very prolific in doing films. And of course, the big opening night film is by Saul Williams and Anaïsa Uzeman, and from Rwanda, but it's based in the hilltops of Burundi. It looks at these coltan miners. You know, coltan is the mineral that we use in our computers to stabilize the computers, to stabilize phones. The most important mineral right now, really, when you think about it. And 80% of it is in Democratic Republic of Congo. And sadly, the Congo doesn't benefit much from it. So the film uses, it looks at that in a creative way. So like an Afrofuturistic film. Very much like it's like a sci-fi film. It's a sci-fi film, but also looking at the how mineral exploitation and also gender issues. There's this miner falls in love with that intersex person, but very interesting, very, very, very interesting, very dynamic ways. There's so many different ways of, when you see that film, you just keep talking about it in various aspects of that film. And of course, Saul Williams is a fantastic storyteller. So, and this is just what his latest doing. And you talked about South Africa.
Now, the name of that movie is Neptune Frost, right?
Yes, Neptune Frost.
That was the movie we were talking about. We saw at Sundance, and we were like,
you know, you should get that. No. It's a deep film. and you have to be really conscious, and there's so many obvious things, but also it's not trying to spoon feed you on issues. It's trying to make you think and have a broader understanding of various things, and just it's very fascinating. You should take a look at it, and and that's a great film, and that's the partnership of Anaisa Uzaman and Sal Williams, who are also partners in real life as well. So that's his wife and husband-wife team.
So wait a minute. So I just want to make sure that people at home who are watching this, we are on with the festival director and co-founder of the New African Film Festival, which is located here in the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area. They've been working, as I think Mwiza said, since 2006. With
2004.
Oh, sorry,
2004. I'm saying, but you moved in with these guys in 2006.
2006. Yeah, with AFI, 2006.
Mwiza, stop, man. I'm a pro, man. I got this. So they started this festival in 2004, but they've been partnering with AFI and showing films and working with them at the Silver since 2006. And I'm telling you now, Charles and I, matter of fact, if you don't believe me, just show up for any screen and we'll be sitting in the same spot.
I can attest to that. I can attest to that. I can vouch for that. If they're not there, there's something deeply wrong. We have to
and we have moved people out of our spot. But no, Mwiza, but seriously, man, I mean, I'm so happy for you, because much like a lot of the other festivals that, that 1 year when everybody had to go dark, including our own, it is wonderful to be back at AFI Silver, man. You're going through the litany of films. But for people who really love cinema and really understand what it is that you guys are doing, and I love how you said it today, it's called the New African Film Festival, because we are constantly showing you the different perspectives all throughout the continent of Africa, all these different countries. It's a brilliant festival, man, that you guys have. And trust me, we get films and put those films into our awards kitty every year, because it's like, wow, some good stuff. So I'll have some more information to tell you when I see you, because over the last 24 months, there's been some big changes on what we've been doing. And I think that there's a way that I think we should be able to work together, to you being the feeder, because you're the conduit between the continent cinematically and us. So that's why you are very important to us.
Yeah, and I just wanted to say that I'm not the only one. I mean, it's my colleagues. I'm the co-director, so to speak, of the festival. My Kisheri Mbuya, and then of course from AFI, Abby Aligar, Todd Hitchcock. Yeah.
I love how he's trying to cover all his bases. This is like an exception.
And Chavez. And
as well as goes to Jason, and I just want to thank everyone.
Jason, Josh Gardner, and also that's the award. Josh.
He's like, I want to thank everybody.
Also my colleague James Pope.
We know it takes a village. We know it takes a village to raise a child, and this is your baby. You got people to thank, man. Go ahead.
I also want to make sure that it's also our organization is Africa World Now Project, and my colleague is James Pope. So that's what I want to make sure that's highlighted properly. And of course, WPFW is the media sponsor, and they've done so much great work for us. And we've been on. Actually, full disclosure, I even have a show at WPFW. So talking about I wanted to go back to some of the films because we're here to talk about the films.
Before you do, real quick, Mwiza, one of the things I really appreciate about your festival is your ability to have so many of the filmmakers come out and be present for the shows when they come out. I know you talked about Neptune Frost and Saul Williams, but name some of the people we can look forward to seeing this weekend. I mean, throughout this festival.
Yeah, I think I mentioned already. Isa Maiga, and she'll be there on March 22nd with the film Above the Water, and then on Sunday, A Fire Within, the filmmaker Christopher Chambers. That's about 3 women from Ethiopia who in pursuit of justice and human rights. One of the women had come here to the United States in 1989, and then lo and behold, in the job that she's working, she finds out this is, one of the workers there is the same person who tortured her in Ethiopia. Yeah, and so it's a very, I won't give anything away. It's a documentary based on a true story, but you should come out and watch that on Sunday that at 5 o'clock on March 20th. And also, as I mentioned, the Elders Corner, the filmmaker will be there as well. CG Ayowinka will be there having a great conversation with Katia Stitt of WPFW to talk about that film. And that's a great film for all those who love music and love music documentaries. Fantastic film. It's a fantastic film. I think you should watch it. And of course, the other filmmaker that we have, I think that's the main. Those are the main ones. I think there are a couple of ones we're waiting to see if they're going to make it as well. I think Among Us Women, we just found out. I think she's coming in. I have to double check. That's another film from Ethiopia. Yes, that Among Us Women, the filmmaker will be there as well, and that's on March 26th. And that's a film about, it's a documentary by an Ethiopian filmmaker and a German filmmaker. They're looking at midwife birthing, of how you the how people in the rural areas in Ethiopia use traditional midwives versus the modern way of having children, and the complexities of that as well. And it's a very interesting documentary of how the traditional way of having children, or the so-called modern way as well. And it documents, so that's a documentary. It documents a young lady who has gone through that process and the like. And there are 3 films from Ethiopia. Actually, all of them are based on women's stories. And the last film on Ethiopia is Stand Up My Beauty, which is about a singer, another documentary, who uses her music to tell the stories of women she knows in the family, as well as others as well. Very nice, great film, very interesting film as well. Fantastic film from Ethiopia. Yeah. And then from South Africa, there are a couple of films. There's one which is sort of based on the experience we're talking about, COVID. This is a film about a filmmaker. It's so interesting. This is actually a film about a filmmaker who is having personal marital problems, and he wants to get closer to his son, and then he becomes a judge at a Johannesburg film festival. And then of course COVID hits, and they have to be inside. They can't move around as much, and he's in this hotel. But there's also another filmmaker there who has just found out that she has won this award, and she can advance her filmmaking careers abroad, but she has a personal issue which might inhibit that. And I won't say what it is, and so you said that, so which may not allow her to go abroad. But in the backdrop is COVID as well, and you have this so they're using, so it's a very great way of using the current environment, but still telling the continuous human story in that environment setting. And talk about human story, I mean, there's a film from Nigeria called Juju Stories. Interesting film. It has 3 parts, 3 stories in one.
Horror movie.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a horror movie. I guess it's a horror movie. Yeah, it is. I watched it. It was, yeah, I guess it's a horror movie. It makes sure, but it's interesting. It makes you, yeah, it's very interesting. Well done movie as well. And again, dispelling your preconceived ideas of what you think is Nollywood. You know, it's not what you think. It's not, as they say, it's not your mama's Nollywood.
I know that's right.
Yeah, so it's like, and then there's a film from what is it? Cameroon, Moto Taxi, another thriller.
Moto Taxi.
Yeah, and that also weaves in this is about the people who are, you have these motorcycles, and that people use them as taxis in
Yeah.
Africa. Yeah. And so it weaves in some of the stories of these motor taxis, but looking at, and it like three stories about these three different issues, and they're sort of connected. And it's the way they're connected is seamless. Not you don't know how they're connected. I mean, it is a very interesting way of connections. And that's from Cameroon, and that's going to be on Saturday actually. And from the diaspora, we have a film which has won for awards in Tribeca from Nana Mensa, called Queen of Glory. And that's a very interesting film about the immigrant experience, choices people make as well, broadly. And this is about a young lady who her mother dies, and at the same time she was trying. At the same time, her mother dies when she was just about to leave New York. This is based in New York City, and to leave New York and go off with her married boyfriend, who I think I told her, yeah, once he gets his job in Ohio, he'll leave his wife or something like that. And of course the mother dies, and then she has to take care of the mother's store. Her mother had this bookstore. At the same, when the mother dies, the father comes from Ghana, because he had left the U.S. and moved back to Ghana. And so it shows the strained relationship between the father and the daughter, but also the previous relationship between the daughter and the mother, and then also the complexities of being a diaspora child, because she's lived her life in the U.S. and lived the U.S. experience. But then in the funeral, for instance, she has to follow certain traditions which she's not really used to. It's a very interesting film. And then also she has to deal with settling the estate of the mother, the store, what that means. Very good movie. Very exciting movie. That's on Saturday afternoon.
I believe that was one of the ones that I picked to watch, because I believe
definitely
the store is a Christian bookstore that she runs too. So I'm always interested in some of those stories that have those aspects inside, those themes inside of the story as well.
And it's interesting that the person that her mother hired is a very interesting character, and he's familiar. I think he's done some independent films, so he's a very familiar actor, and it's well done, and I can understand why she received critical acclaim at Tribeca. And from South Africa, we have Indemnity, another one, which is a thriller, very fascinating thriller. It almost reminds you of Jason Bourne thing.
Okay.
It's a very, very interesting thriller. Watching it, but it has the complexities of power, companies, manipulation of politicians, and it's a fantastic film. Arms trade as well in that, and the filmmaker has done TV shows in the past in South Africa. I think he still does, but it's based in Cape Town. This film, but it's a fantastic film. And
that's the great thing about this film festival. Whatever genre you're looking for, it's there. I mean, you would think that there's only certain types of stories that are being told, but you got every kind of genre coming out of in this festival. So whenever you go there, there's something that you got horror, you got action, you got comedy, everything you want is here. It's an amazing festival, always well put together.
And you have love stories like The Tale of Love and Desire from Tunisia, which will be on the 27th, and that's an interesting film, because you have this love story of a young man who's he's born in France, but his parents are from Algeria, and then this young lady who is from Tunisia, she comes to the school. They're both going to the prestigious Sorbonne University in Paris. They're first year students, and then they meet in this Arab literature class. And the young man is more conservative, kind of brought up in a conservative family setting, and the class is actually looking at erotic literature as well. And it's very interesting. And then but it also shows, you have this woman who is directly from the continent, from Tunisia, and then you have this young man who's the diaspora, and it looks at their personal, well, the broader issue of the diaspora continental relationship, but also their personal their personal issues. One being kind of tight in their character development in a way, and the other one much more open. And then that's a lot that love story, and various issues that dealing with a little bit of racism in France. As you know, people have there's been more reports, about the issue concerning race in France, but it's but a lot of it is really about these two main characters and the love story. So that's a very great film. That's like the last weekend on the 27th.
All right, so wait a minute. So Weezer, we got about 9 minutes, man, to go. So you need to let people know we're talking about all these films. How do people attend this festival?
New Africa, yeah. Just you should go to the website at AFI Silver / AFI. It's at AFI.com/silver. That's AFI.com/silver. And the festival will be from March 18th to the 31st. And that's at the AFI Silver Theater and Cultural Center, which is on 8633 Colesville Road. And that's right near the Red Line, the Silver Spring Red Line. And that's 8633 Colesville Road. That's the corner really at the Colesville and Georgia Avenue in Silver Spring, downtown Silver Spring. So it's right, very much metro accessible and other transport accessible, very easy to get to. And of course, for ticket information I mentioned, you can go to afi.com/silver. And just as you mentioned, there's so many films about everything. There's a great film done by a Cameroonian filmmaker who's based in I think Belgium and France, I can't remember, but we've shown a film before. It's called Prism, and it's a documentary which interviews herself, the filmmaker, and a couple other filmmakers about how the camera has been distorted to favor a certain color complexion. Of course, not the black color complexion, and how it looks at that. It's a very fascinating film, a very interesting film about how that has been done over the years, and the use of the camera and how a certain type of color has been favored over others. So that's a great film. That's on the 27th. Especially for filmmakers, I think it's a great film to watch. Those who are interested in cameras, very fantastic film to watch.
Filmmakers ain't interested in kind of the art of filmmaking, where to place a camera, what color schemes. Using. But Weezer, like I said, we got about about several minutes to go. As I said earlier, we're really excited for you that you guys are coming back, and I know your team is brimming with excitement. It's wonderful to see all those faces when we get back to the theater again. So how are you feeling, man? On the eve of where we're going with this festival, you're like 24 hours away, man. How are you feeling about all of this?
Nervous. No, it's not.
Why, man? You got to build to the audience. They coming back. They're eager.
Well, we've been gone, and then some people, of course, is naturally nervous about going out. There's all these issues, and so you have that issue. So, and it's always, no matter what time of the year, no matter what year, I'm always nervous the first day. I think it's good that I'm nervous. I get scared if I'm not. I get scared if I'm not nervous. Especially when I used to play soccer for the university and all that. I was always, even in track in high school. So I think it's just a bit, one of those things. If you're overly confident, then something's gonna happen.
So you saying the nerves are really your way of steadying you and letting you know that you are in the moment.
Yeah, and it just makes you humble. It humbles you to make sure that you make sure you cover all the bases and do everything. Yeah, it humbles us as well. And And we're so privileged to be doing this 18 years. We've been so fortunate to see the growth of African film. Literally, it's grown as we have grown. We've had more films. You can see the number of films expanding because of the expansion of African film as well. At the beginning, we only had 12 films. I think it was only 12 films. And there weren't as many, and it was only a select few countries. Now you have countries like Zambia. For instance, one of the films we have in this festival is from Zambia, Maria Christus. And it's an interesting, I shouldn't say, it's not a funny film, but it's a film looking at religion, fanaticism, and this young lady who is tied down by her family is following this certain sect, but she has her own dreams and aspirations, and it's a very interesting film about dogmatism and about in religion and other issues, but also looking at some young person's dreams and aspirations, how they're stifled by certain environmental issues. And that's from Zambia. It's called Maria Christu and the Boomba story.
So basically, when I told you we had several minutes to go, you still introducing more films, man. Stop it. Tell them one more time. Tell them one more time how they can get ticket information. We got to get out of here, man. We'll still be on the air later tonight. We'll be like, there's one more movie.
I mean, there's so many good films. Like, oh man, it's like
I know.
I know. But they should get ticket information at afi.com/silver. That's afi.com/silver. And that's the New African Film Festival. I also want to give them phone numbers for those who are interested in looking the old style. And it's 301-495-6700. That's 301-495-6700. That's the number to AFI Silver Theater. And from there, you can also get an automated schedule as well. They can tell you about, and you can get in more information as well from there. But
so what time are we seeing you tomorrow, Mwiza? 3 o'clock in the afternoon is the first film?
Yes, I'll be there from 3 until the end.
Got it. So we will see you tomorrow, man. Like I said, we've been saying it all show. We will tell you when we see you tomorrow that we're happy you're back. I want to get there early so I can make sure I got my seats. And,
your seats will be there.
Matter of fact, y'all should put like a reserve sign over our area. But, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna be in charge of that.
Yeah, we could. For a small fee. No.
All right, but Mwiza Munthali, co-director of the New African Film Festival, I want to thank you, man. Make sure you've gotten the information from him. We will see you out there. And as I tell you guys, when we close this show every week, please see something good at the movies. Mwiza has given you option after option. So you need to go out to the New African Film Festival. It's too bad that you don't have a kind of a hybrid edition that people who aren't in the metropolitan area can still watch these movies, because I know they're all great.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things with COVID, we could have done, but last year we kind of did. It was sort of but only certain states could watch it if you're in a certain state, like on Zoom. And that's something to think about as we expand and do that. That's a great idea, having people have access to it. Yeah.
Well, I will give you more great ideas when I see you tomorrow, sir.
Thanks a lot.
All right, you guys take care. As we tell you on the other side, man, you guys enjoy your weekend, and we will talk to you next week. Mwiza, thank you for everything, man. That was great.
Have a great week.
You as well.
And we'll see you tomorrow, Friday.
You 18th. Will definitely see us tomorrow, man.
And I hope all those folks listening will see them tomorrow as well.
All right, there it is. Last word. You guys take care and enjoy your day.